Right, here we go. This is Bandura, Ross and Ross this time, and their experiment into social learning theory through being aggressive. Very, very, very aggressive. Because obviously aggression is so interesting to psychologists because it seems to be sort of passed on, and it's very a question of natural aggression versus whether it's nurtured. Um, so this is this whole aggression. So, social learning theory, I'm going to go first. It's the idea that if we can associate with a model and we can, then we start to imitate behaviours that they show because we want to be more like them in a way. We want to be more like the person we respect. So, say, I'm trying to think of an example. If you saw, say, your footballing idol slap a woman, that might become no. I think that's a very good example. Anyway, continue. The aim of the study was to investigate the mechanism of social learning theory. And this is kind of a behaviourist thing, which is a perspective that comes up again in Freud. No, wait, I'm confused. Behaviourist comes up. Oh, it came up in Savage Rumba. That was one of them. Behaviourist. Oh yeah, it's kind of a little bit Griffiths. I'm not sure. Um, Back to the case at hand. Anyway, so basically you had 72 children, 36 boys and 36 girls from Stanford University Nursery School, and they were broken up into lots of conditions with 6 people. You'd have 6 boys with an opposite sex model, 6 boys with the same sex model, 6 girls with the same sex model, 6 boys with an opposite sex model, and those were aggressive, and then you'd have the same but with a non-aggressive model. And then you'd have 24 children also didn't observe any model at all. And what they did was they were going to. I'll come to the procedure in a minute. The hypotheses were that children who observe an aggressive model reproduce the aggressive acts of the model. These aggressive acts will not be seen in children who have observed non-aggressive models or are not exposed to them. This was the idea that the children that saw the aggressive model would copy them, but the children that didn't see the aggressive model wouldn't do exactly what the aggressive model would have done, or what the other children who have seen the aggressive model are doing. This is sort of so it says this isn't a natural behaviour, this isn't just something they do, it's definitely imitated. Observing a non-aggressive model, number 2, observing a non-aggressive model or not being exposed to a model will inhibit aggressive behaviour. This was the idea that if they didn't see the person being aggressive, they wouldn't imitate that behaviour and they wouldn't show any aggressive behaviour. It would be sort of inhibited, basically. The third hypothesis was that children would better associate with the same-sex models and therefore would be more likely to imitate them because it's just a matter of social learning theory. If you can associate with them, it's more likely that you're going to imitate their behaviour. It was also done hypothesis for the boys would be more likely to immigrate aggression than girls, which anyway, so the experiment went in a few stages. It started with stage 1, which was the modelling. The aggressive model for the 24 children that got the aggressive model would be sat in the room, and then Each child was individually exposed to the model. So they'd go into a room basically, and the model would be taken into the room with them, and they would play with a toy for all sort of thing. How long does it say in here? They'd play quietly with the Tinker Toy for a minute, or they'd play quietly for a minute with the Tinker Toy that was in the corner of the room. And then they would begin to attack the Bobo doll, which was used as sort of a aggression sponge in the experiment. And these were sort of pre-prepared, scripted sort of aggressive acts, like punching it, sitting on it, uh, kicking it through the air, pushing it over, throwing it, and hitting it repeatedly on the head with a mallet. These were repeated about 3 times each, along with phrases such as "stop him in the nose, hit him down, pow, and he sure is a tough guy." Anyway, so non-aggressive condition. The models just played with the Tinker Toy, and in well, we're not told what happens in the control condition, which is the one where they don't see a model at all, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, aggression arousal, stage 2. Basically, they would wind the kids up, which isn't particularly ethical to say. They would take the kids into a room with lots of nice toys, and then they'd let them sit there and play and be happy. And then they would come in, and after 2 minutes, the experiment after 2 minutes, the experiments will come in and say, "No, these toys, they're not for you. These are the special toys for nice children, or the special children, the very good children, the wonderful children that aren't you. So come with me. I have some other toys for you elsewhere." And then the children will be taken to a room where there was a Bobo doll and a mallet and something suspiciously pendulum-like. Anyway, so this brings us on to stage 3, the test for delayed imitation. This was basically they were being observed by an adult. The Bobo doll for the children was actually shorter. The model's Bobo doll would have been about 1.5 meters tall, but the children's Bobo doll was only 0.9 meters tall, which is sort of scale thing more likely to associate with the situation the model was in, I suppose. They also had a dart gun, but they also had some non-aggressive toys, like a tea set, crayons, some paper, and some plastic animals, kind of things you'd expect children to want to play with. Badly not the aggressive ones. The experiment stayed in the same room and carried out some paperwork while through a one-way mirror a researcher observed the behaviour. For 20 minutes, a observer recorded behaviour over 5 seconds on a sort of time thing. Then they would record imitative aggression, partially imitative aggression, which was sort of similar to what they did, but not quite exactly the same, and non-imitative aggression. That's like novel aggression. That's like this child is just being aggressive in a way we haven't shown him to be aggressive. Um, so interracial reliability for the aggression high, very high. Also, the observations were done blind. The observers didn't know which conditions children were in. So, children who observed the aggressive models made far more aggressive responses than those who were in the non-aggressive or control groups. Basically, they didn't see the aggressive model, they didn't do what the aggressive model did. But the people that did see the aggressive model did copy him or her, depending on which conditions they were in. There was more partial and non-imitative aggression amongst those children who observed aggressive behaviour, although the difference for non-imitative aggression was small. That means the control group, who didn't see a model, was still quite aggressive, just not in ways that the model had been. So they obviously wound these children up quite a lot. Um, Children who observed non-aggressive models or no models showed fewer aggressive acts. That is to say, fewer, not no aggressive acts. Boys were more likely to imitate same-sex models than girls. Girls probably didn't care as much. I don't know. I'm not a girl. The evidence for girls imitating same-sex models is not strong. Also, boys imitated more physically aggressive acts than girls, but girls, no. There was little difference between the sort of verbal aggression of boys and girls. Anyway, so the conclusions were that basically the aggression had been transmitted from the model to the children because of social learning theory. They had picked it up, they had imitated it, they had sort of associated themselves with a model, and then they had behaved like he was or she was. That's that.